In this lesson, we're going to learn how to solve systems of equations by substitutions. The steps that you need in order to do this are: step 1, solve one equation for one variable. So you're going to try to solve for either x or y. Highly suggest choosing an easy one. With this said, some of your problems will already have one of the equations solved for x or y. Okay, step 2 will be to substitute the equation from one into the other equation. Step 3, we're going to solve for the remaining variable. Step 4, use the new value from the remaining variable to find the other variable's value. I know, lots of words in here. Step 5, write an ordered pair, which remember ordered pairs are an x comma y, as the solution to the system. So lots of steps, and it's actually fairly simple. So let's look at an example. You're given two equations. Step 1 was to solve for one variable. Look here, the second equation is already solved for y. We know that y is 4. And remember, we're looking for an ordered pair. X, y is our solution. We already know that y is 4, so we're only needing to find one more piece. So now that we know y is 4, because our second equation tells us that y is 4, we need to figure out what x is. So we're going to solve for x, and we're going to do that by taking y, the 4 value, and plugging the 4 into the first equation. So since we know y is 4, we're going to take the 4 out of the second equation and drop it in place of the y. And then we rewrite it so that it gives us 5x plus 3 times 4, because up here it told us 3 was being multiplied times y equals 7. Now we can solve that equation. And we solve the equation. Our goal is to find out what x is, so we know that we need to solve for x. So we're going to get the 12 away. So solving, just like we've solved equations in the past, subtract. Keep them balanced by subtracting 12 from both sides. Then we are left with 5x equals negative 5. So in order to get the x isolated, we need to divide both sides by 5, leaving us with x is negative 1. So now we have a value for x. We have a value for y. We have a value for x. So since we know that y is 4 here and x is 1 here, our solution is x is negative 1 and y is 4. So the solution to our system is negative 1, 4, which would be the point of intersection of those two lines. Okay, remember, every linear equation creates a straight line. Okay, so let's look at some examples from tonight's homework. Remember, Delta Math, there are printable versions of the worksheet in the Unit 5 folder. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at number 1. We have two equations, x equals 9y, and then we have the second equation as 2x, take away 2y equals negative 16. All right, so our goal was to first find an equation that has one variable equal to something else. We have that. We know here what x equals. We know that x equals 9y. So now that we know that, we can take our 9y and put it into the new equation in place of x, because that's what x equals. So we're going to rewrite this as 2 times 9y take away 2y equals negative 16. Okay, continue to simplify your equation. 18y take away 2y equals negative 16. 18y take away 2y is 16y equals negative 16. Divide both sides by 16. So y equals negative 1. We now know part of our ordered pair. So this is not quite as easy as the last example. And remember, every problem is going to be slightly different. We now know that y equals -1, so I can put that in my solution set. Okay, I still have to figure out what x is, because x is not just one number. I can't put 9y in an ordered pair. That doesn't make sense. So now I'm going to come back up to this first equation, x equals 9y. Well, I know what y is, so I can drop the -1 in place of the y. So x equals 9 times -1. So x is -9. So then put that into your solution set. So we now know that x is -9 and y is -1. So each one of these problems is going to be slightly different. Your goal is to figure out what the value for x is and what the value of y is so that you have a solution to the system. Let's look at another example. This one's, we're going to look at number 8 from the homework. We have two equations. We have 2x take away 3y equals 20. And then we also have x equals -2y plus 3. So really, we know that what x equals. So since we know what x equals, we're going to take the value of x and put it in place of our equation. So then we would rewrite 2 times -2y take away, oh, what did I do here? I made a mistake. I needed to put the whole -2y plus 3 in place of the x. Okay, this whole section, this whole -2y plus 3 goes in place of the x. Then continue writing the equation that we started with. 3y, take away 3y equals 20. Okay, so now my next step is to continue simplifying. Now that I have taken my value for x and put it in place of x in the other equation, then I need to continue simplifying. All right, what does it mean? Oh, here, reaching back really deep to distributive property. We need to distribute the 2 to each term inside the parentheses. So 2 times -2y is -4y plus 2 times 3, which is 6. Take away 3y equals 20. Continue simplifying. I can combine like terms. -4y and a -3y makes -7y plus 6 equals 20. Continue trying to get y by itself. Take away 6 from both sides. -7y equals 14. Divide both sides by -7. Y equals -2. So now we have the first part of our solution set. We have that y is -2. We still need x. Okay, since we still need x, which one, and I'm going to erase some of my arrows here. You can always rewind and rewatch those. I need to find x. I now know y, so I can think, okay, well, where would I want to put that y in place so that I can get x by itself? I think I'm going to choose this top one. So I'm going to start with the equation 2x minus 3, I'm going to replace the y with a -2 equals 20. Simplify. Well, what can I do first? I have 2x, -3 times -2, it's going to be a +6 equals 20. To get the x by itself, I'm still trying to isolate that x. Subtract 6 from both sides. 2x equals 14. Divide both sides by 2. Sorry about that. X equals 7. We now know that x equals 7. We now have a solution to our systems of equation. Our solution is 7, -2. We can confirm that those work by substituting in the value for x and the value for y and making sure both sides of the equations balance. All right, continue working through examples, plugging through these. Remember, it's going to take some time to refresh your memory about solving equations. Please, please, please make sure you are writing each one of these problems down. There's a lot of work that needs to be shown for each one of these problems, and it will be required to be turned in. Okay, so tonight, please complete Delta Math 5.2, Day 1.